Hello, welcome back to Fantasy Premier League in preparation for Game Week 5. This is another watch list video looking at key players who I believe stand a good chance of doing well, getting in a decent amount of points, and also players that have got good fixtures ahead. Now, there is one or two risk in here, but it may be worth doing so. Additionally, there was no matches played last week due to the international matches, so it's given more time to think of who do I really want and who should I consider getting rid of. Now, that sort of video transfers will be shown in a later one. For now, let's get into the watch list. So starting off, if you haven't already got him, is Dominick Calvert-Lewin. Now, he's a good player, he's in form, he's performing well, and he's very consistent at the moment. Now, his price is going up. I got him, about 7.3 million, round about that, and now he's about 7.7, or at least approaching 7.7 for sure. If you look at his fixtures ahead, obviously the match coming up this week is against Liverpool, then it's against Southampton, then Newcastle, and then Man United. Now, after that, it does get a bit easier again, so it's quite promising. And considering Calvert-Lewin is consistent and does well, you can't really go wrong. He debuted in his England match most recently, and he managed to score there as well on his debut. So it shows he is quite a threat at the moment. Let's hope it continues. Against Liverpool, it's going to be a tough game, obviously, but the way Everton are performing, they'll definitely put in a great amount of effort, and I believe Liverpool's main goalkeeper is still injured, I think, as well as another Liverpool player or so. Mane's come back, supposedly. So we'll see how that goes. But I think it'll be reasonable. Then against Southampton and Newcastle, they should be reasonable matches. At the end of the day, whether Everton win or lose, if Calvert-Lewin at least scores a goal, you've got a decent amount of points in. You can't really go wrong. And it's best to get him soon before he goes up even more in price. That's to consider. Next one, Martinez. I got him at 4.5 million. I think he's gone up to about 4.6, and he'll probably keep on going. If we look at him now, his first match, first debut, penalty saved, about 13 points, and then in his match after that, I believe, was it against Liverpool or so, when Aston Villa managed to win. Although Martinez didn't manage to keep a clean sheet, he still saved quite a few. So he got an extra point, so he got 3 points, which is reasonable against a team of that. We are facing Leicester next. Now, Leicester have been a bit rocky at the moment. They did well at first, but then they've started to go a bit downhill. And they're facing Aston Villa, who's just come off a big win from Liverpool. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. We look at the fixtures, obviously Leicester, but then it's Leeds and Southampton. So, could be quite reasonable, especially against Leeds and Southampton. I think Aston Villa will hold up fairly well, and there may even be a potential chance of a clean sheet. Martinez seems quite capable of being a good goalkeeper at the moment due to his performance and the points he's got in. And for the price he is, you can't really go wrong with him. But additionally, to put in, you might end up going up more. So maybe it's worth considering getting him now, even as a second choice goalkeeper due to his price. Next one, we've got Grealish, another Aston Villa player. Now, you've got a range of Aston Villa players, strikers and midfielders who are doing well, but I just wanted to specifically target Grealish because he just seems a bit more of an all-rounder. Now, I can't remember which way it was, 2 goals, 1 assist or so, something like that against that Liverpool game. So he did well there. You look at his points, 3 points in the first week, 8 points in the third game week. That's pretty good. It shows he scored goals, got assist, and like with the Liverpool one, 2 goals, 3 assists. So he's a good all-rounder. And the way Aston Villa are performing at the moment, there's a good chance. Look at the fixtures. Again, Leicester, Leeds, Southampton. Not too bad. Guess we'll see. It is a bit pricey, I think, in the 7 mil range, but depending who you've got, you've got like someone like Foden, maybe you could take Foden out and bring in Grealish or so. I think that would be a worthy upgrade for at least at the moment, let's say. Okay, so moving on to the next key player. It is Gareth Bale. Now, as I said at the start of the video, there is a few risks, and this is one, for example. So Gareth Bale, there's two issues. One, his price. Two, whether he'll play or not. The reason why I say his price is because he's 9.5 million. He's not a cheap player. And for the cost of him, you probably could get a player much cheaper who is playing right now and who is getting more points in. But hopefully when Bale does start playing, he will catch up because he seems quite capable of doing well, and I'm sure he wants to do well. And he's back at Tottenham. He's paired up with Harry Kane and Son. Yeah, that's a good trio to be involved in. Tottenham themselves are performing good enough at the moment, so if you just add in somebody else, such as Bale, it should make things better. And if not that, still just as good. 50% chance of playing due to lack of match fitness. That is an issue. Depends how long that will take. He has just recently recovered or so from a knee injury. So is he fully prepared from that? Is he fully healed? And then on top of that, is he fit enough to play? It says 50% chance, so it's kind of 50-50. He might not. You know, look at Son at the end of the day. 25% chance of playing due to a serious leg injury. And guess what? He ends up playing the next week and performs just as good as he did the week before. So it's kind of a mixed bag. I would say it's a risk. Now, if you don't want to take the risk, that's okay. If you want another Tottenham player, maybe consider going for Harry Kane, because Harry Kane's doing well. He seems to be playing. In terms of his fitness, I think he's doing okay. I know he played the internationals recently, so you don't know. But in terms of warning signs, I've not seen any at the moment, so we'll see. But, you know, if you don't want to risk getting Bale, consider getting Kane. I can't remember what position Bale is at in fantasy football, whether he's like a midfielder, such as Salah, or if he is an attacker. I'll have to recheck that. Now, moving on to the next one, it is Semedo, the one from Wolves, who is a fullback, I believe, but in real life he's a midfielder. I might be wrong, but I just keep seeing the team sheet looking like that way. If we just look at the fixtures, just the next year ahead, got Leeds, then Newcastle, then Crystal Palace. That's pretty reasonable, to be honest. Do I think they'll get a clean sheet, Wolves? I think with the fixtures, they've got a better chance than if it was to face like Liverpool, Everton, teams like that. So yeah, I think Semedo, at some point, he is definitely going to get an assist. I just feel that because of the way he plays. And, you know, you've already got a Wolves player, maybe you don't need Semedo, but for someone like me, I just wanted to double up on it. So I thought Saiss and Semedo worked well together. And last game week, because they were able to get a clean sheet, they both got at least 6 points. Well, Saiss got 8 due to bonus, but they both would have got 6 points stock. So that's actually pretty good. And if they manage to keep getting clean sheets, you're going to get 2 lots of 6 points on their 2 players from the same team. So that's not too bad. And with the fixtures, they're reasonable, to be honest. So you can't really go wrong. His price isn't too bad. I think he's 5.5 million, I believe. Same price as Tellez. If not that, he's 5 million. One or the other. It's not too bad. You know, I'd rather have this guy instead of Reece James, personally. But unfortunately, I've got both. So we move on to the next one. We've got Herrera. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Who is from West Brom. Now, not many people talk about West Brom players too much in fantasy football, but in terms of Herrera, due to the points he's got in so far, and I think he does take free kicks as well in certain set pieces, so he has got more chances of scoring. You know, I can't remember who they were facing. Was it West Brom and Everton? Yeah, it was West Brom and Everton, because he got a goal in that, and that was from a free kick, I believe, and it was outside of the box, and it was quite a good one. Top right, I believe it was. So it shows he's capable. He could be quite deadly in the set pieces. And, you know, he's a reasonable price in the 6 million range, 6 mil, up to 6.6, I think, around that. Not too bad. You know, it's a different player to have in for a change instead of picking all the typical generic type players. If we look at the fixtures ahead, Burnley, that's actually quite reasonable. Brighton, kind of tough, and then Fulham, that's actually quite reasonable. Those two facing each other off again, not too bad. So for at least the short term, Herrera seems to be a decent choice. And in terms of the points he's got so far, 2 points, then 10 points, then 5 points, then 2 points, a bit up and down, but he seems capable of doing quite well at times. You know, he got 10 points against the likes of Everton, and he got 5 points against the likes of Chelsea, where supposedly higher end teams. So that's quite promising. So we'll see how he does. Now we move on to the last one, I believe. Oh no, second to last is... No, it is the last one. Yeah, Maupay. Now, this is a player who seems to be quite good at the moment and also in form when it comes to scoring. Now, the actual overall team, although not too successful in winning, lost a fair few of the games. Well, actually, have they lost a fair few of the games? No, they haven't. They've actually won. Pardon me. But I feel like Brighton are a team that may end up losing in the future, maybe a fair bit, but I feel the likes of Maupay, regardless, because he's a striker, because he doesn't get minus points from letting in goals and stuff, or clean sheets, missing out on them. He doesn't, so his main point scoring thing is down to like scoring goals. You can't really go wrong with that. Maupay seems quite capable of scoring at the moment. Look at that. 2 goals against Newcastle, 1 goal against United, 1 goal against Everton. So he might not be getting huge amounts of points like certain players, maybe like Son, you could say, or not quite at the same level as Calvert Lewin in terms of points produced, but he seems very consistent still. Look at that, 16, 8 and 6. Now, you look at the fixtures, Crystal Palace, that could be a kind of a tough one, or it could be quite balanced. You know, they're both, decent teams, to be honest. I don't know if Brighton will win, but I've got a good feeling Maupay will probably at least score a goal, which is good enough, to be honest. Then they're facing West Brom, that's actually all right. Then Tottenham, kind of tough, kind of rough, to be honest. Then they're facing Burnley, which is not too bad. This is the key thing to remember. This player is probably more capable of scoring at the moment, at least, than the likes of Werner. And you know what the difference is between those two? Werner is 9.3 million. Depending when you got him, probably 9.5, 9.4 million. He's currently 9.3. Maupay is about 7, I think. So there's a big price difference. And if you ultimately didn't like Werner and you wanted to get rid of Werner and you wanted a cheaper alternative player who can get in a reasonable amount of points in and is somewhat consistent at least, maybe your key player is Maupay, because then you've still got leftover money. You can reinforce it and upgrade it elsewhere on the pitch to improve other players, replace other players, so it can work out all right. Now, me personally, I probably will get rid of Werner. If not that, I'll probably get rid of Reece James, but that'll be in another video, which I'll probably upload tomorrow or so, and then I'll do a squad lock-in Saturday, most likely. So we'll see how it goes. That was my watch list. Tried looking at players that are in form, players that have got good fixtures ahead, trying to not go for the typical, most popular ones, trying to go for, ones that aren't heard about as much or haven't been chosen as much, because it might end up being a nice surprise at the end of the day. So that concludes this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it wasn't too long. Hope it helped.